Here we go.
Hanging out.
Are we good, Trevor, recording it?
Yeah, we're good whenever you guys are ready.
So did you expect these 3 games out of Taliyah that you've gotten? Because the returns look awfully good so far.
I can't say that I did. It's, we've talked about it where it's just been, just an amazing thing to be a part of, an amazing thing to watch, something none of us have ever seen before. A student coming from high school joining a basketball program in the middle of the season with no preseason. Talia had, 3 practices and then played 4 games in 8 days, and to play with the poise, the skill, and the impact that she's played with has been remarkable. And so, no, I can't say that I saw it coming. I know the player that she is, though, so I can't say I'm overly surprised. Even though there's no way you could have predicted, that she would have the impact that she's had and been able to finish games for us, and we talked about it last time before she got here, is she physically ready to do it? That was, how do you know that? You don't. And then, can she pick up the defensive end of the floor and the concepts and, understand the schemes that teams in our conference use? And, her IQ is off the charts for this game. Her skill set allows her to survive out there when she sees things that are different. Her ability to handle the ball against pressure and then pass the ball to the right person. And, we've certainly seen her range on the 3, and then a little flair, with the behind the back pass and some highlight reel plays as well. So clearly a very, very special player.
What's it like, Scott, to be able to give Aaliyah a little bit of a break? Like on Sunday against Utah, I think it was 33 minutes. And normally, it'd go 39. I think it was 47 in that double OT. What about that? That really has to add some choices for you.
Well, it helps, no question, to have somebody that's, been a point guard her whole life, just like Aaliyah. We'd been doing it by committee. Jasmine had time there. Certainly Sasha Savannah's played there. We were using Ellie Mack there just a little bit as well to be that secondary ball handler. And in this conference, you really need it. There's so many great athletes, great defenders. We watched, Sydney Weiss several years ago as our primary for 4 years and watched every scheme somebody could throw at her and how it's taxing. But it was so nice to be able to throw the ball over to Gabby or somebody like that in those days. Then it turned into Mick and Katie McWilliams, and now it's Aaliyah and the youngsters. It has been and their wings thrown to the wolves with an abbreviated preseason to develop, literally thrown to the wolves. And so with Taliyah coming in, that gives us obviously the clear backup point guard, but also just a secondary ball handler on the court because they've played very well together as well. And so it's been a relief for Aaliyah, but probably even more so for those wings who have had to play out of position all year.
From a morale perspective, this wasn't, I'd imagine, the mentally easiest season up until she arrived here with COVID and the results and everything just kind of being up and down like that. Then you get a fresh face, wide-eyed kid who brings all this energy in. When you look at where the season was to where it looks like it's going, was that a morale boost, having a kid who's essentially fresh come in and maybe introduce something a little bit different than what your team had been dealing with up to that point?
Yeah, it's a boost in every way. And the irony is that we were in a really good place as a group before she arrived, considering the hardships that we'd faced. Not only a couple really tough losses, but the break that we had, the team handled it so well. And we were really excited about the growth that we'd made. Then you add Taliyah to the mix, and then she just is one more real positive, obviously, and one more weapon to the team that was added at kind of just the perfect time. And so, it's just been a great couple weeks for us. But I've got to give the team just a ton of credit. Before Taliyah showed up, just that whole stretch of time, remaining positive through it, really growing, I thought, through it. And then adding Taliyah was, as they say, icing on the cake. at the time. And it's just been fun to watch it all just blend together, and then so fortunate, I mean, to play 5 games in a row. Obviously the Washington game was delayed, but still 5 games, in a 2.5 or 3 week period, considering what we'd been through, we've just grown so much through it.
Scott, you talk about Taliyah coming in and filling that role. How nice is it to have her have an opportunity to play behind Aaliyah and learn from her this year? Because, in a normal time, she wouldn't be here, wouldn't have that opportunity to see Aaliyah up close, personal, and to just kind of learn how she, does things, and for her to learn that and grow that way.
She's a great one to learn from, I can just see Aaliyah reminiscing the days of Marie Gulich, when Aaliyah was just a little freshman running around out there, learning things for the first time. And now she's in that role to give back. And obviously a really unique situation to have Taliyah come in a little bit early to get some of that experience firsthand, instead of our interpretation of who Aaliyah is. And who knows, maybe she's sticks around for a little while longer. You never know. But right now for Taliyah, that's absolute gold. Not just for her, but for this team. The leadership that she's providing is incredible, actually. And backing it up with her play has been incredible to watch. And when you do everything right, good things happen. And that's what Aaliyah has been providing. But yeah, it probably made Taliyah's decision even easier, understanding that she'd have that opportunity.
Scott, the last time you saw Arizona, it was, you had a long break and you were finally on the court in Tucson. Here they come to Corvallis. You guys have had these games. You've had this chance to gel, I guess you could call it. What are your thoughts about Arizona again?
Really good team and really gritty and tough, and they know who they are. It's a group that has obviously strong leadership. Aries Airy, just outstanding player and leader. And then Sam Thomas is another, just, when I think of her, I just think the glue to that team, just does all the little things, not the big name, but man, when you see her impact every possession, it's special, but they've got a little bit of everything. We were hurt in that game by their bench. Their bench really hurt us, both defensively, protecting the rim, and then, knocking threes down to separate from us at the end of that first half down there. But going into that game, certainly they play defense at a high level, and that is who they are. It's their calling card, as you say. And so for us to continue to execute the way we are, they try to speed you up. And so for us to stay poised and make good decisions with a little bit more pressure is going to be a fun challenge. And that is the game. The last time they were able to turn us over, I hope we handle that a little bit better this time around and give ourselves more opportunities to score. So it should be a great game.
4-game homestand for you here. And, not, every game in the Pac-12 is difficult, I know, but, what is the importance, I guess, for you looking forward to a potential, anything in the postseason, whether that's Pac-12, NCAA tournament or otherwise, to see an Arizona or a Stanford at home and try to steal one from one or both of those teams?
Yeah. And Arizona State and Cal, and just like you said, they're all tough. And we looked at the schedule, the other day or Tuesday, as we were getting ready. Was that yesterday? I guess that was yesterday. As we got back together and we looked at the week ahead and the schedule ahead and the opportunities ahead for this group. And, there's been a lot of unknowns because our schedule was so unknown. And of course it still is. Anything could change at any moment. However, it's just this feeling of momentum within our group and this feeling of excitement. And we know that there's daunting challenges ahead, but that's what we're all here for. And we feel like, okay, finally, we've kind of found a rhythm. Last week might have been, Trevor would have to help me on this, but might have been the most efficient or best an Oregon State team has shot the ball over a 3-week stretch that I've ever been here, since I've been here. I mean, it was unbelievable to shoot 60% from three, over 55 from two, whatever it was. I don't know the exact details, but we just executed so well. So there's a good feeling. We know we've got to get better. No question. There's still room for lots of growth with this team. But man, here comes Arizona. That's a nationally ranked team. I don't know what their net rating is, but it's way up there. You get a win there. Along with last week, I mean, we went from 95 to 44 or 45 in the net rating. I mean, we're going to put ourselves in the conversation, which that's why we're all here. I mean, nobody came here not to play in the NCAA tournament. We came here to play in it and win in it, and I believe this team absolutely can. And so certainly we have to prove it on the floor, though. And we have some great opportunities coming up, not just this week, next week, and the weeks to follow.
I know
Coach
that.
Game.
Oh, you go, John.
Sorry. I was just going to say, Coach, getting back to Taliyah, obviously you paired that with Sasha winning Pac-12 weekly honors this week. What's that say about the kind of talent that you've been able to get here to Oregon State, that they're playing so well kind of right off the bat? And how excited does that make you for the future of this team, both this year and going forward in future years?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Really happy for Sasha. I mean, she joined a very special list in two-time Player of the Week award honors, in our program. And I think every one of those has been an all Pac-12 selection, and certainly Sasha's well on her way towards that. But she's a McDonald's All-American. Kennedy Brown, who's not taken the floor yet with us this year, is also a McDonald's All-American. I believe Taylor Jones would have been had she played summer ball the year before her senior year in high school. Taliyah certainly would have been this year. And I still hope they make a concession for those who didn't get to play a high school season this year like her, to still be a part of it, because she clearly belongs. You look at the talent that, came to be part of something very special and, joined our family here at Oregon State. There's a lot. And it's a really exciting time. And I think when you look at this team, I don't know if anybody really should be surprised by, some stumbling in December, considering the situation. This team needed time to grow together, and now everybody's seeing it, and so I can't say that I'm super surprised that, we had some struggles early. I just knew we needed time to grow, and now we're getting it. And it's fun to watch it all come together, to be honest. I mean, I'm having a blast with this team. And to be honest, I've had a blast with this team all year. I've said that from the beginning. We've had a great time. We just need games. Ellie Mack has needed games to settle into the Pac-12. Taya Korsda has needed games to come back off an injury and remember who she is on the court. And, our freshmen, they've needed games. And so, here it is coming together. And I feel great that there's a lot of basketball left this year, but man, the future looks good. Thanks for asking.
Thank you, Coach.
Scott, it's National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and you've talked before about the influence that
can't hear
coach.
You.
Oh, all right. Can you hear me now?
I lost you at the influence that.
Oh yeah, you've talked before about the influence that the women in your life have had on you as a basketball mind, as a coach, as a man coaching women in the women's game and doing it successfully. I mean, how important is a day like this to you, and what does it mean to you?
I love that you asked that. I'm going to show you this real quick because I'm about to send this out here pretty soon. But that's my little sister Heidi, and she's 4 years younger than me, and I got to coach her at George Fox back in the day, and when I was a young assistant coach. And well, there's my mom too. And so those were some great times back there. But I'm so thankful that you asked me that. Not only in the sport of basketball, but in my life, some of the main mentors in my life have been women. And, here everybody's heard me talk about Dr. Barbara Cusimano, who ran my master's program and helped me learn how to be an instructor and a teacher. how to organize, how to break skills down, and how to be a professional more than anything, and just to be an effective communicator. And she was as influential as anybody's been in my life outside of my family. Before that, Mrs. Berry back in junior high, teaching me how to write and how to communicate, and seeing something in me and she held me to a high standard. And so I've had significant females in my life. I had both grandmothers until they were in their 90s, and my mom, is one of our biggest fans, as everybody knows, Mary Lou. And so to imagine a female not having the same opportunities as a male in my life is hard to imagine based upon my experiences. So when I hear the stories, I just scratch my head. It blows my mind. I don't understand how that was really possible. And I'm very grateful that it's not like that any longer. And it certainly is something to be celebrated. I attribute my success as a coach and a professional and just as a person to those people. And then my opportunity to watch my little sister play basketball and become one of the, you guys have maybe heard me say this, but I've never seen an athlete work harder, care more, or prepare better than my sister. Male or female, it doesn't matter. I never saw an athlete. So she set the bar so high for me for what a female could do in the sports world, that's what I've coached to. Barb taught me, what to expect of not only myself, but others as a teacher and an educator. So you put that whole thing together, and it's really no surprise that I'm sitting here. And of course, my dad, coached and opened some doors and made me passionate about teaching and coaching it in itself. But the women in my life really have shaped me and pushed me. So now I get to give back every day, and I get to empower and encourage and help the young women that I get to coach see themselves correctly, powerfully, like just warriors, like they can accomplish anything when they walk out of Oregon State. And that's why I get out of bed every day. I just love doing it. I'm made to do it. And so, so today's a very special day, and I'm excited to send that out here pretty soon.
I'm good. I'm enjoying everything so far.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you jumping from, Washington high school basketball, and then, your first game that's not, like an exhibition against some Division III school? I mean, it's Pac-12 conference play you're going right into. What was the adjustment like?
Yeah, I think it was more just like adjusting to the system and having to learn everything so fast, and having to be so disciplined and so detailed with every movement, because obviously it's not like that in high school and you can get away with a lot more. So I had kind of to pick things up quickly, and just be super like disciplined and detailed, like I said. So I think that's the biggest difference. As far as like the speed of the game, I don't think that really affected me as much as I thought it would, or like people thought it would. It's more just staying focused, every second, every minute you're in the game. Because I didn't always have to do that in high school, so it's a big jump. But yeah, I think I'm adjusting pretty well.
Hey, Taliyah, did you have any expectations whatsoever coming in? You jump in right away, and you 3 straight games of double-figure scoring. I mean, have you surpassed maybe your expectations, or what did you kind of expect coming in? And do you think you'd see this much time, and how difficult has it been to kind of just get yourself in a position to play so much?
Yeah, I think I didn't really set any expectations for myself. I was kind of just like, I'm going to take advantage of my time and soak up everything I can, and just learn and grow as a player. So as far as like really impacting the team in my minutes, and I obviously wasn't expecting to get that many minutes right off the bat. I wasn't even expecting to be eligible until Colorado. So it all kind of happened really fast, but it kind of worked out because, I'd been watching them all season, and they were kind of in need of a second ball handler. So I think I just got lucky in that I fit right in, because it's not like I was coming onto a team that had, a few point guards. It was kind of just they needed a backup for Aaliyah. So I was able to be that, and I think that's why I'm getting minutes. But yeah, I think I'm adjusting pretty well, so it's going good right now.
So Taliyah, you guys, Oh, Taliyah, you guys have won 3 in a row, and it had to be fun to sweep the mountain schools. But here comes Arizona. What are your thoughts about the Wildcats? What have you seen from them, and what's going to be a key on Friday?
Yeah, they're both really good teams. They're high pressure teams. They're both super defensive minded. They're a lot more intense than the mountain schools, very different teams. So we're going to have to be ready to handle the pressure. So we're preparing for that. And I think we're going to be ready. I think we need a lot of changes and improvement on the defensive end. So we're kind of working on that. But, you know, we play really good teams every weekend. So it's just opportunities to learn and grow. And, you know, we're getting better every day.
Can you walk us through just what the process was like with your high school, getting everything kind of aligned from a credits perspective and a graduation perspective to make sure that you were able to kind of take advantage of the free year of eligibility here with OSU?
Yeah, I actually didn't have enough credits to graduate. We had just started a new trimester at my high school, and I needed like 3 more classes. So we kind of we knew about it for a while, about the possibility for like almost a month. And then we kind of just it was always an idea and nobody really said anything. We didn't really take action for a while. And then all of a sudden they were like, this is what you need to do. Like I had to enroll in online classes that were like 40-hour classes, and I had to get it done in like 3 days. So the turnaround from starting those classes to when I had to finish and then when I got on campus was less than a week, I think. So it was a lot of work. But, you know, with the uncertainty of a high school season and just a really good opportunity, I just decided to do it. And I think it was the right decision, and I'm happy where I'm at.
What was it? You know, I mean, you're here early, but you were going to come to Oregon State anyway. What was it that drew you to Oregon State originally, you know, when you were in high school and committed? What was it about the program that made you feel like this was the place that you wanted to be?
Yeah, I always kind of had them on my radar because I've known Jamie from a young age. I watched her play in high school, and she played with my sister. And I'm just pretty close with the Wisner family. So I kind of grew up watching Oregon State, and obviously like even before their Final Four. So I kind of saw the whole process of Scott and Jamie both like turning this program around. And so I've been talking to Scott since for a few years now. And I just love the coaching staff, and I love Scott's mind and how he approaches the game. It's really similar to mine. And he's just so cerebral and smart with the game and how he reads everything. And that really attracted me here. And then when I came on my visit, just the culture of the program and just the university itself, I love that about it. And it really is a family here. So that really drew me in.
Yeah. How big was Jamie in all of this and just getting you here and maybe helping you develop? How much of her game did you watch? Do you try to model some stuff after her? What's that relationship with her kind of like?
Yeah, I've trained with her a lot and watched her a lot growing up. Obviously, I think I really tried to model her work ethic. I think we're really different players, but you know, she's one of the best to come through here, best to play in the Pac-12. Nobody works as hard as her. So, you know, I watched that growing up, and that definitely stuck with me. And I know what it takes to do what she did because, you know, I watched her do it. So she definitely does inspire me, and I look up to her, and you know, I'm trying to follow her in her footsteps.
You played EYBL with Taylor too, right? Or there's 1 or 2 people on this team that you played travel ball with in high school, right?
Yeah, I played with Kennedy and Taylor, so that was another thing. I kind of had a lot of different connections to the program in like random ways. But Kennedy was my roommate when we went to Italy with the national team, and Taylor was on that trip too. So I've been pretty close with them for a while. And so, yeah, and Katie played for the same AU team as me, Coach Faulkner. So there's just like a bunch of random connections to here. So it always seems like this is where I was going to end up.
I was going to say, has that made the transition a little bit easier as opposed to coming into a college building with a bunch of people that you don't really know, aside from, you know, having watched or recruited? You know, there's some name recognition or at least some past experience where it's like, oh, hey, good to see you again, as opposed to like, nice to meet you for the first time ever.
Yeah, it definitely was nice. It wasn't like I was coming in and like having to meet all my teammates. I was already pretty close with a few of them and familiar with them. And I'd met Sasha before at different camps. And just like being on really good AAU teams, you kind of all know each other in some way. So yeah, I felt like I was already pretty close with the team before I got here. And then they were super accepting and helpful in the whole process. And yeah, I think I fit right in, and they're like sisters to me, and they helped me so much already. So yeah, it really is like a family here.
Do you look at you and Sasha? I know Greta's coming in the next class as well, but I mean, do you kind of look at the backcourt of you and Sasha right now and kind of like think, you know, this is what the future is going to look like for the next few years? And is that kind of exciting to see, you know, the youth of not just yourself, but the others on this team, and what kind of foundation you can build and what's essentially a free year for you?
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, you know, me and Sasha and Taylor, and then you got Kennedy coming back, Greta coming in. It's definitely looking scary for the next few years with that lineup. So I'm excited. You know, me, Sasha, and Taylor are already, you know, focusing on this year and trying to reach our potential this year. But yeah, there definitely is a bright future for what we got coming in the next few years.
I have time for one more, Steve. If you
Hey,
got
Taliyah,
one.
just what's it like coming in and getting a chance to watch Aaliyah Goodman work? Obviously, you're playing behind her and picking up stuff from her, but being what she's done in this program, just how important is that going to be for your development? Just getting a few, you know, some of this practice time and everything, and learning from her.
Yeah, I love playing with Aaliyah. I've been watching her since she was a freshman, and she really is taking advantage like of her senior year. She trusted the process the first 3 years. You know, was obviously 6th player of the year, got really good minutes off the bench, and now, you know, it's kind of her time to shine and be a leader. And she's really stepped up to it, and she's playing out of her mind right now. So it's definitely, you know, awesome to watch her do that and be a part of it, and just learn from her, really.